Well, Joe Elliott, Def Leppard, you're headlining tonight at Download. How's the day been so far?
Well, to be quite honest, I only got here about half an hour ago. We decided to take the late trip. I haven't seen any bands because the second I got in, they put me straight into the press. So, so far, all I've heard is Thin Lizzy in the background. And they sound good. Ricky sounds great, actually, I've got to say. So, I'm just hoping that the weather, stays away, or at least the rain does. Got to have some form of weather. I prefer it a bit more sunny. It's it'll get more exciting the closer we get to going on.
Yeah, definitely. Last night you won the Inspiration Award at the Kerrang Magazine Awards. How did the night go for you?
It was amazing. We were sat at the table watching all these bands come and go, thinking, I've heard of them, I've never heard of them. I've heard of them, but I've never heard them. Oh, I've heard them, they're good. And it's like, I don't know whether we actually belong in this environment. And then all of a sudden, the mood, well, it didn't change. I mean, we were watching a lot of the young bands making some of the comments they were making. It's like, yeah, we'd have said that 30 years ago, I wouldn't say now. And then they gave Ozzy an Inspiration Award, and it kind of went into that kind of older category, if you like. And the mood it changed, in a good way.
Yeah.
And
well, people were singing along to the.
Well, when the Darkness got up there to kind of introduce us, they played this tape, about a minute kind of compilation of our stuff, and everybody in the crowd started. Well, everybody in the auditorium, in the brewery, they started singing the songs. I'm thinking, wow, this is a bit weird. And then when we got up, we got this standing ovation, and I really wasn't expecting. I was actually very flattered and humbled. It was very odd. I wasn't expecting that when the night started out. I thought, uh-oh, fish out of water.
Right.
But then by the end of the night, it's like we really belonged. And that young little Sheffield band, Bring Me the Horizon, they gave us a name check. And then when we were back having the pictures taken, all they wanted to do is have pictures taken with us. And I suppose you have to look at it as like, we must have done something right, during those 34 years we've been together. For them people to give us that kind of respect. So I was very flattered, and it turned out to be a fantastic evening.
Excellent. So, I mean, going in from last night into today, you must be on quite a high.
Absolutely. I mean, things like, before that, we just played Belfast and Dublin, and then we flew straight in for the Kerrang Awards, and now we're here. So it's like 4 solid days of just manic work, But if somebody had said to me when I was 17, you're going to be just flooded with work when you're like in your 50s, I'd be like going, fair enough, I'll take that, And we were, just more than happy to just jump in feet first for whatever's coming to us now. But it really was, a great couple of gigs in Ireland, followed by the, fantastic experience at the Kerrang Awards last night. And now I'm just looking forward to 4th in a row, if you like, of big crowd, great lineup of bands, and hopefully a great performance.
Def Leppard are no strangers to Donington. What makes this place so special for bands, particularly British ones?
Well, I can't speak for every other band. I mean, I think most festivals for bands are pretty special. There's some other great festivals around the world. Sweden Rocks is a great festival for other kinds of music. Glastonbury is a great festival. For rock music, Donington is like the spiritual home. For us, it's absolutely a spiritual place because it's where Rick Allen first came back after his accident and had his first major gig. And to come back 23 years later, as we did in 2009, people actually saw in '86 the potential, and in 2009 they saw the finished article, and then you just think, wow, what happened in that 23 years in between? This is the first time that we'd come back to headline, and now, like they say about a bus, there isn't one forever, and then 2 come along at once, so the second time in 3 years. But it's by demand, so I mean, can't argue with that.
You can't at all. Going back to that show where Rick came back for the big show at Donington, what was the sense? Was there a massive sense of relief once you got off stage that day?
In '86?
Yeah.
Probably. I don't remember too much, to be quite honest. I think there'd be a massive sense of relief that we actually just got through the gig at all. We hadn't played a show really. So we did a couple of warm-up shows did 5 warm-up shows in Ireland, so we kind of had those as at least a springboard. But we hadn't done any real performing since we'd done Jack Murphy Stadium, which was the last American gig in '83. If I know I'm lying, we did 6 weeks in Europe in clubs. I kind of forgot about that. But it was '83 since we last done a gig, so it's 3 years since we played.
Yeah.
So to be able to just get through a gig in front of an audience that didn't really know who we were, we were a curiosity. You know, we'd sold a lot of records in America on Pyromania. We hadn't sold hardly any in England.
Yeah.
For everybody in the audience, for every 10 in the audience, there might be one person bought the album.
Right.
Everybody else heard of us, but they didn't necessarily know who we were. They just, oh, that's the guys with the drummer with one arm, and they were all watching. But I think we definitely kind of bonded with a British audience that day.
Yeah.
So when the album came out a year later, it went straight into #1, and everybody's ready for us, you know.
Yeah. Then things got bigger and bigger and bigger. Does the buzz of playing ever go away?
No, it hasn't yet, because for us we've maintained a level of kind of success that keeps putting us in front of big crowds. You know, if we became one of those bands that ended up having to play the marquee because that's all we could do, yeah, it would go away, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I played little gigs with the Down and Outs. I mean, open for Paul Rodgers, but that's a choice.
Yeah.
So that was actually great. That was fun, and that was for the Down and Outs was a step up.
Yeah.
You know. For Leppard, we need to be able to kind of do what all great bands do, like The Who, or say Roger Waters now, or U2, anybody that's the Foo Fighters even, you know.
Yeah.
Maintain a certain level of success, and then the buzz never goes away.
Right. Finally, you've got such a vast back catalogue of songs to pick. Is it quite easy to pick the set between the five of you, or is there arguments
bloody
still?
hard actually?
Yeah.
Because there's obvious songs that we just know we have to play or we can't get out of the building alive. Especially in the States, you know, things like Sugar and Photograph, you just can't not play it. It'd just be a riot.
Yeah.
In England it's maybe a little different, because territorially we got some songs that were hits in the States that weren't hits here.
Yeah.
So we don't have to play those in Britain, and we got songs that were big hits in Britain that weren't hits in the States, and we have to play them here. So we actually, the set picks itself to a point. Certain
so geography
songs.
Helps the band then?
It almost does, yeah. And then beyond that, it depends what year it is. In 2008, we were really pushing the Sparkle Lounge record.
Yeah.
So in any given situation, we're playing anywhere between 2, 3 or 4 songs from the 11 or 12 that were on the record.
Yeah.
And then mixing it up with older stuff that comes and goes. So, you know, knowing full well that we were only here 2 years ago, we had to make a bit of a conscious effort to change out at least the front half of the set to make it different to last time as best we can. So there's a bunch of songs that we did play, and there's a bunch of songs that we certainly didn't.
Yeah, because just before Sparkle Lounge album came out, you played at the Islington Academy. I mean, how is it going back into such a small club, you know, considering the size?
It's really it's bizarre. It's fun. It's a challenge.
Yeah.
The thing I remember most about it is the review afterwards, when some guy said Joe Elliott looked completely out of place. He was staring in the middle distance like he didn't know where he was. Well, for the first 2 songs, he's absolutely right. I had no idea. I'm like, wow, I could see the whites of their eyes at the back, never mind the front.
Yeah.
It really was bizarre.
Yeah.
But you have to change your persona. You can't swing the mic stand around. You take somebody's eye out.
Yeah.
You know, so you have to adjust pretty quickly because you don't have time to practice.
Yeah.
You sound check, you get up there, you do the gig, you sweat a lot, and you just hope that the songs sound good, and that's about all you can do.
So the gigs that keep you on your toes then?
Absolutely. You know, I mean, every gig keeps you on your toes, but those gigs are just different because we don't do them every day.
Do you think you'll do anything like that in the near future?
I mean, I can't say we won't, because there's always, do you want to play some radio station's Christmas party, you know, and you think, yeah, why not, let's do it, you know. We haven't got any planned at the moment, but we have never said we're not doing that again, you know. I mean, especially when it comes to launching an album, something like that is sometimes a great idea, but the way that this tour just fell into place, it's like we get to do it in front of 70,000 people instead. You know.
Fantastic. Well, Joe, it's been brilliant speaking to you again. Have a great time tonight.
Thank you.
I'm sure we'll speak to you again very soon.
Absolutely.
Thanks, mate. Thanks.